Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 39th American-Turkish Conference, which is the premier occasion for business and government leaders from both countries to gather and focus on all aspects American-Turkish bilateral relationship. It has been 5 years since we have come together in person, so it's good to see so many familiar faces after all these years. We extend our thanks to sponsor of our conference, FIBA Holding, Koç Holding, Kibar Holding, Turkish Airlines, Enka Holding, Borusan, Çimsa Americas, Sabancı Climate Technologies, Doğuş Hospitality, Çatlık Holding, Suma, Cheniere, Lockheed Martin, and Boeing for their support. Excellencies and distinguished guests, the 39th American-Turkish Conference is organized by Türkiye U.S Business Council, TAİK, which is Turkey's first business council and the reference point of Turkish-American economic relations, and in cooperation with the American-Turkish Business Roundtable, ATBR, and U.S Chamber of Commerce. And now, with much honor, I would like to invite Mr. Khush Choksy, Senior Vice President for Middle East, Central Asia, and Turkey, U.S Chamber of Commerce, to deliver his welcoming remarks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. It's been 5 years since we had this conference together, but it seems like a lifetime, even though in those 5 years, both virtually and in person, we have had an opportunity to come together and work together. It is truly a delight to welcome everyone from Istanbul, Ankara, Izmir, all of the many cities in Turkey, throughout the world, and of course, Washington and the United States. Your Excellency, Minister of Trade, Omar Bolat, thank you for joining us today with your presence. We are also honored to have with us at the conference, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Minister Bayraktar, Ambassador Jeff Flake. A warm welcome to Washington, even though it's a little chilly out there, and muggy, to Ambassador Onal. We welcome you here. This is a wonderful start to your tenure, and we really look forward to working with you. And Madam, thank you for joining us today as well. Undersecretary for Commerce and Head of the International Trade Administration, Marisa Lago, who is literally taking off to Turkey, leading the U.S. government Trade Winds mission there. I think you told us it's your 5th time to Turkey. It spells the importance that the U.S. government associates to this important bilateral commercial relationship. Ambassador Lago, thank you for doing this. We really appreciate all of the support that Commerce has given us. Nail Bey, our partner with TAİK, Murat Bey, also with TAİK, and Mary and the team. Of course, the chair of our U.S.-Turkey Business Council, the CEO of Chobani, Hamdi, Ulukaya, and all of the members of the U.S.-Turkey Business Council, the U.S. Chamber, and TAİK. We are delighted to have everyone today. This, as we mentioned before, is the first time we've convened in 5 years, and hopefully the start of a new chapter, not just in the commercial relationships which have continued to grow, but an invigorated bilateral relationship between Turkey and the United States, which is so important. Currently, there's $42 billion in bilateral trade and commerce, but an opportunity to really grow because the commercial relationship serves as the backbone. I often tell folks in Washington, but throughout the United States, Turkey is the 2nd largest partner of NATO after the United States. I think it was President Obama's first foreign trip was in fact to Turkey. And he spelled it out very nicely, certainly more eloquently than I or many of us can, that it served figuratively and literally as the bridge between East and West, North and South as well. And that role Turkey plays economically, politically, culturally, and socially. It really is a bridge of understanding. So this year's theme, Partnering Strategically, Winning Globally, is more than just a slogan. It is something that Turkey has always stood for and helped the world come together, and the United States understand and further its own commercial goals as a partner together with Turkey. So at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, that was established 110 years ago as the home to American business, we are located right across from the White House. Our CEO, Suzanne Clark, sends her warm regards. We are committed to, together with our 300,000 members and our 2,500 state and local chambers that stand as our members, as home to the U.S.-Türkiye Business Council headed by Mr. Ulukaya. We are completely committed to that relationship, whether it's defense and security, energy, digitalization, resilient supply chains, friendshoring. That's a term I believe the administration has come up with, and it is something that really we double down on when it comes to Turkey. The movement of goods and people, food security, and just to name a few. Also, the engagement on tourism, as Turkey becomes one of the world's most popular, I think it's already in the top 3, if not the second, destinations for tourists globally, and we all enjoy flying between Turkey and the United States thanks to Turkish Airlines, which is also a big player in today's event. The next 2 days are packed with sessions that promise to be both informative and transformative. Our discussions will revolve around innovations in technology, defense, energy, trade, tourism, and more. We will look to further partnerships, tackle shared challenges, explore joint opportunities, and further that collaboration in the spirit that brings the business communities together. So I want to now extend my deepest gratitude to our chair of our U.S.-Türkiye Business Council, Hamdi Ulukaya, founder and CEO of Chobani and chairman of the Chamber's U.S.-Türkiye Business Council, and his counterpart, Murat, Özyeğin, and the entire TAİK team, including DEİK President Nail Olpak and others, for their partnership. Lastly, to our participants, your engagements are insightful and essential. Let us use this time not only to strengthen our bilateral ties, but also to forge new pathways that will lead to our shared success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Choksy, for your precious remarks. And now I would like to invite Mr. Murat Özyeğin, chairperson of Türkiye U.S. Business Council TAİK, to deliver his opening remarks.
Well, Honorable Minister Bolat, Undersecretary Lago, Deputy Minister Khush, Ambassador Önal, Mrs. Önal, Nail Bey, my dear friend Hamdi. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to be addressing to all of you today at the 39th American-Turkish Conference. I would like to extend my sincerest greetings to the honorable government representatives from Turkey and the United States, as well as our current and aspiring business partners, who are, I am sure, as excited as I am to be here in person today. I would also like to take a moment to thank our counterparts, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the American-Turkish Business Roundtable, for their unwavering support. And of course, if it were not for our sponsors' generosity, this event would not be possible. We deeply appreciate your endorsement of our efforts. Events like these are landmark occasions that can contribute meaningfully to the relations between our two countries, and putting them together is no easy business. It requires sleepless nights, hard work, dedication, and meticulous planning. So allow me to begin my remarks by congratulating our colleagues at TAİK and the Chamber, who worked day and night at a very short notice to put everything together so that we can be here to face for the first time after 5 years. Distinguished guests, one of the most definitive aspects of our nearly 200-year-old friendship between Turkey and the United States has been our ability to compartmentalize our political and economic relations. While it is no secret that over the past century there have been ups and downs in our exchange of political opinions, our business relations remained as the hallmark of a partnership that has withstood the test of time. To give you a few examples, as of 2021, the US surpassed the UK to become Turkey's second largest export market and currently stands as the fifth largest import destination. Our bilateral trade volume is up more than 60% from its pre-COVID levels. US remains one of the top 2 FDI investors in Turkey. Last year alone, as the Turkish private sector, we increased our foreign direct investment in the US by $2.6 billion. All of this is because business is more than just mere exchange of goods and services. Business is about the exchange of values and ideas. It's about building partnerships, building communities, building talent, but most importantly, it's about building trust. And this trust that we have built over the past century is the underlying success of our economic relations today. It is this relationship of trust that has allowed us to overcome times of political hardship. Turkey and the United States have been inseparable NATO partners since 1952, meaning that the impact of our strategic partnership, as well as our responsibility, extends beyond just our two nations. As we have seen time and again, throughout decades of this alliance, the Turkey-US partnership is one that benefits the world at large. Today, it holds the promise to rebuild numerous countries and communities that have been ravaged by war and poverty in recent years. Building on complementary strengths, our strategic partnership can offer a fast track to those nations to reintegrate into the international trade and security architecture. At this time of heightened geopolitical tensions, our deep-seated alliance within NATO presents a decisive opportunity to pursue mutual interest in bringing stability and prosperity to many regions of the world, particularly in places like Central Asia and Africa. Turkey's shared cultural, historic, and linguistic ties with many of the Central Asian countries, as well as our role within the Organization of Turkic States, elevates us into an influential position in that region. Turkey-US partnership can create substantial impact to reduce the region's dependence on a single source for energy, transport, and transportation, which is yet another case demonstrating that NATO alliance can bring benefits at a global scale and improve the global order that ultimately affects our individual communities. Another key area of strategic partnership is undoubtedly energy. For the past 2 decades, Turkey has had the fastest growing energy demand among the OECD countries, ranking only second to China in natural gas demand in the world. Yet, we depend on external resources to meet over 70% of our energy need. And here too, we see the critical role of that trust relationship. As part of our efforts to diversify our supply portfolio, our government has recently, actually yesterday, engaged a US supplier for a long-term, multi-billion-dollar LNG contract. Nonetheless, increasing the use of domestic and renewable energy resources is at the heart of our national energy policy. Turkey has made tremendous progress towards this objective, with renewables reaching 54% share in total installed power at the end of 2023. Turkish enterprises have accumulated considerable know-how in renewables and are eager to strengthen existing partnerships and to establish new ones with our US counterparts as we drive this figure even higher. And make no mistake, we are fully aware that the right mix of fiscal and monetary policy is a key underlying factor for the success of this partnership. Over the past year, Turkey has taken the right steps to return to rational monetary policy that is promoting trust and predictability in our economy. This period has seen Turkey build up $70 billion of central bank reserves, while its CDS levels drop from 800 to below 300 basis points within a span of 6 months. A clear sign of growing confidence among investors and a more stable economic environment. Recent rating increases by S&P and Fitch certainly confirm this pattern. Furthermore, the fact that Turkey has entered a period of 4 years without elections gives our administration even more room to implement the planned reform agenda to usher in a period of sustainable economic growth. It is clear that with its diversified industrial know-how and as an economy now categorized by the World Bank as an advanced manufacturing hub, Turkey can easily be an instrumental partner for the US in its bid to enhance the resilience of home and allied economies, particularly in view of the increasingly difficult geopolitical environment. Ladies and gentlemen, the strategic nature of the Turkish-American partnership has implications for the whole world. This is why we cannot treat each other just as customers or vendors, but rather as allies pursuing a common strategic agenda. We are ready to increase our collaboration with over 2,000 American companies already present in Turkey, and we seek to grow the almost $10 billion of FDI we currently have committed in the US. And to show that we're not just talking to talk, I invite you all to explore our new task forces under TAİK to support the $100 billion bilateral trade goal. As a clear sign of the positive momentum in our bilateral relations, we are thrilled that in a few days' time, possibly before we even get rid of our jet lags, we will be hosting the TradeWinds delegation in Istanbul with more than 100 US companies in attendance. I believe the 39th American-Turkish Conference will mark a promising new chapter in our strategic business partnership and look forward to our discussion over the next couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you very much. These important points and details, Mr. Özyeğin, for your remarks. And right now, I would like to invite Mr. Hamdi Ulukaya, Chairman of the U.S.-Türkiye Business Council, to deliver his speech.
Thank you so much. Can I feel that water from? What a beautiful day, what a beautiful morning, what a beautiful gathering. I think it is so beautiful to be all together here today. But let me start with saying welcome to our Minister Ömer Bolat. Dr. Bolat, welcome. Of course, Marisa. We'll be in Istanbul next week. So good to see you here. And of course, we saw our Minister of Energy, Alparslan Bey, last night. Ambassador Flake, Ambassador Önal, Mrs. Önal, welcome. And I was joking this morning, it feels like you're natural, you're already here. It's only been a week. It's so good that you're here. I knew Murat before, but it wasn't until last week when he walked into office and was it last week or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. I said, we're doing this and you're coming, and my father said hi, and this is all done. I said, sure. And he brought the energy, and you can tell why. He summarizes the whole thing. And of course, Nail Bey, it's so good to see you again, and my friend Khush. If I listen, Khush and Murat, they both summarize the importance of this meeting today, importance of continuous this conference, and the importance of historical moment where we are between these two nations, United States and Turkey. And I go back to the day I wake up in the middle of the night with the news that so many cities in our beautiful country in Turkey that is shaken and the people are under rubble. And going through the tweets as an individual, someone whose heart is connected to the land where I grew up and also here, is what can I do? What can anyone do? What can we do right now? There are lives under buildings and people are outside, it's cold, and it's probably enormous amount of confusion, and this is the moment we need to step up. And I called my Mehmet Kırdar, my friend, my colleague. The next morning, we were here in Washington, D.C. at our embassy with Murat Bey. By the time we left from here, we had already seen Samantha Power from USAID. We had connected with White House, we had connected State Department. The biggest response we have ever seen in that morning was Turkey's best friend, which is America, United States. From White House to Commerce to the Foreign Ministry and USAID, every single person in this town really thought about people of Turkey at that moment. And they step up. And the following weeks, by our secretary here, Secretary Blinken asked the U.S. Commerce, with the representation of many, many U.S. companies coming on the conference call, Khush, you were there, is direct question of secretaries of what companies can do, our friends and our allies in Turkey. I'm honored to say, from that moment on, U.S. companies led this effort over $100 million in kind donations to people of Turkey on earthquake relief. Our most amazing foundation, Turkish Philanthropy Fund, which Mehmet, chairman for the longest time, started that day. Over $20 million in kind donation is collected and sent to people in need. It's still going on. So, you know, we have this line in Turkey, I've said it many times, we say, dost kara günde belli olur. You get to know your friends in the dark days. The friends here in the US really stepped up. And I think that's the beginning of this new era in our relation. It's important that these two nations are close to each other, not because what they can do and how they can elevate the life of their own citizens and the companies they advance, but also globally is extremely important. It's important for the region as we are going through what we see, the wars and conflict. And Murat so elegantly, beautifully summarized what are the opportunities in front of us. You know, let me tell you what happened here in the United States since pandemic. And I was talking to some of the colleagues the other day. You know, we've gone through the pandemic, we worried, the companies worried, the community is worried, but we worried personally what it means for us as an individual, for our families. Then we looked out if our business is going to be okay going forward. We worried about those. Then we got hit by the inflation. We didn't know what these costs meant as a businesses, how this is going to impact our businesses or inflation, how bad it's going to get. Then we heard it's going to be one of the biggest, most effective economic crises in recent history is about to hit us. And a lot of smart people in New York and other financial cities that said that was going to happen. That's adamant. There's no escape from it. But look, we went through the pandemic, we went through the inflation. Our growth here in these States is stable and one of the highest. And unemployment is the lowest ever been. We have not had the economic crisis. And if you go to towns and cities all across this country, new era of investment, new era of economic activities are happening. And if you look at general wage increase on workers, all dimension, has never been this activated and this high. America, post-pandemic, post-inflation, post-challenges that we still see some of it in the region with Russia and Gaza and Israel, still maintained that the healthiness of economy increase and activities in the United States. Clearly is a winner. Of course, America's model is not only America wins. When America wins, you know, everyone wins globally. That's the model. But this is the perfect time, and all these amazing company names that I see, is the perfect time, not only them, for anyone, to invest and build bridges and partnership here in the United States. I always say, close your eyes, put your finger to anywhere in this country, and go there and build relationship and start your business. You will not be sorry. Of course, New York is a little bit higher, but yeah, I'm a little biased. Equally, I remind everybody in this room, and I say it since I took this role, and always been, there's no country, no geographical place, no businesses and entrepreneurs that you will find as energetic, as open to globally, as entrepreneurial, and as stable as people in Turkey. You're never going to find it. This is the... And you look at the population, how young, energetic, you look at the entrepreneurship, I know it. I bring students from Turkey all across the country for years. I've met them, I see them. I am from there. Last night, we met with our amazing energy minister and CEO of a company about my hometown. These are the people who care about their business. And you look at the team that the government in Turkey has today. I call next to any other team up. And just give you an example, when an incident happened, accident happened, our energy minister, Alparslan Bey, was in my hometown, where I grew up, in Erzincan, in Ilic. 3 weeks, never left the site, still does. This is the depth of the care and how should I say, the hard work that you will find. You will find people who are responding in an entrepreneurial way, in a caring way, and a long-term, impactful way. That's the partnership that we will build. And of course, I'm not saying something that has not been known. It's known. But above the politics and disagreements and everything that you put on the side, I would say most of the transactions, most of the relationships, most of the partnership that these two nations' companies have made together has been successful. That's why I'm here. That's what my friend, I tell him, Muhtar Abi, who was the first to be the chairman of Turkish-American Business Council. It happened when President Erdogan and by then Vice President Biden come together and decided to form this. He's always believed that as far as we are very close in spirit. We're very close to the way of life. We're very close in entrepreneurship, the way that we can do attitude, we can make things happen. And I agree with Murat. Where we are as a trade, I think is increasing in a really dramatic way. It's not even close what it can be from what it should be. And we couldn't hope any better leader today to lead TAİK than Murat and Naim Bey, of course. And I'm going to next week, because our ambassador, amazing ambassador, Jeff Flake, which is, we are again lucky to have him, and of course, Sedat Bey being here today, for the trade wings in Istanbul. And we're going to promote American companies in Turkey. And if any role that we can play to make these two nations closer, because I think it's in benefits of our children in future and children of the region, I said, I'm at your service. And invest in the US, you won't be wrong. Invest in Turkey, you won't be wrong. God bless. Thanks so much.
It was a very impressive speech. Thank you very much, Mr. Ulukaya. And right now, I would like to invite Mr. Nail Olpak, President of DEİK, the Foreign Economic Relations Board of Turkey, to deliver his remarks.
Honorable Minister Professor Ömer Bolat, Deputy Ministers, Ambassador, Chairs of Business Councils, Murat Bey and Hamdi Bey, dear friend Khush, and dear participants. Yes, it's really nice to be here again after 5 years of absence. And here I want to specifically thanks to U.S. Chamber of Commerce, American-Turkish Business Roundtable, and Turkey-U.S. Business Council for bringing us together again. Just to remember, we organized 13th Turkey Investment Conference in collaboration with Goldman Sachs and also Roundtable with participation of President Erdogan in New York in September. And today marks the 39th edition of ATC. It is quite important, I believe so. When we look at the program, as we convene for 2 days of panel sessions covering topics ranging from policy, defense, energy, tourism, and especially third country partnerships, it is evident that the bond between two countries extends more than trade and investment, I believe. In 2019, the President set a target of increasing bilateral trade volume to 100 billion US. Now, today's volume, of course, is not sufficient. There are something more to be done. Just to start from that point, a free trade agreement or a maybe preferential trade agreement between two countries will facilitate bilateral trade, I believe. Here there are some specific points I want to mention. As we know, Turkey was excluded from US generalized system of preferences for various reasons, and I believe we should seek ways how to integrate Turkey into that system. Another issue is Section 232. As a result of these, Turkey's share in steel imports of US decreased. This is important. And moreover, I believe it is essential to focus on sectors such as furniture, white goods, automotive parts, construction materials, textiles, ready-to-wear, tourism, of course, civil space, aviation, healthcare, and jewelry industry. We had already worked about them to further enhance of our bilateral trade. And additionally, as also Murat had said, we must focus on increasing cooperation in mutual investments, especially joint ventures in third countries. This is, I believe, quite important. Again, I'm going to repeat that Turkish companies established a strong position, especially in Central Asia and Africa, particularly in energy, infrastructure, and construction sectors. We are very powerful over there. And we must seize the opportunity to deepen collaboration with American companies in these regions. Of course, with 152 business councils all over the world under DEİK's umbrella, we are ready to provide all kinds of supports and facilitate partnerships in third countries that align with the interests of the US. In conclusion, as we strive to achieve our mutual targets, let's remember words of Mark Twain, I think. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. As representatives of business communities, our passion drives us to achieve greatness together. I express my thanks to Excellency Minister Professor Ömer Bolat, American and Turkish business representatives, for their valuable contributions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olpak, for your speech. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Ms. Marisa Laga, Undersecretary of Commerce for International Trade of U.S. Department of Commerce, to deliver her remarks.
We have a saying in the US that imitation is the highest form of flattery. So I am going to start off by saying, beautiful day, beautiful morning, beautiful gathering. It really is. It is such a delight to be here with the ministers, the ambassadors, the business organizations, and particularly the business leaders who are here, because it is you who drive both of our economies. And the timing of this conference, from my very personal point of view, could not be better. Tomorrow, I'm departing for Istanbul. I've been in this job only 2 years, and my responsibilities are global, but it will be my second time visiting Turkey in this role, the 5th time in my life. I have once contributed to the tourism economy, but the 4 other visits are focused on business and economy, and I think that that is a testament to the strength of the ties. Now, why am I headed back to Turkey? Every year, the U.S. Department of Commerce, the International Trade Administration, that's the part of commerce that I have the privilege of leading, hosts our largest annual trade mission and business development forum. We call it Trade Winds, and the location of Trade Winds moves around the globe, from Dubai in 2022 to Bangkok last year to this year in Istanbul. Now, as part of Trade Winds, we are bringing to Istanbul not just over 100, over 120 U.S. companies that represent a broad swath of the vibrant U.S. economy. It includes manufacturing, services, healthcare, advanced materials, cybersecurity, defense, communications, and agriculture. Over 3 full days in Istanbul, The International Trade Administration, ITA, has scheduled hundreds of tailored business-to-government meetings with U.S. diplomats and trade experts who are based in over 30 countries across Europe and Eurasia, and who are all coming to Istanbul. Now, these curated one-on-one meetings are going to be accompanied by networking opportunities and also with plenary sessions that cover timely topics such as artificial intelligence, the clean energy transition, and technology trends in specific industries, from logistics to transportation. When TradeWinds was first established in 2008, it was launched in Istanbul. And this is the first time that we are returning with TradeWinds to a city for the second time. Our decision to return to Istanbul speaks volumes about Turkey's enduring appeal to U.S. businesses that are eager to pursue opportunities across Europe and Eurasia. We have heard so many statistics about the strength of the relationship, and we are proud of the fact that over 1,000 U.S. companies have thrived in Turkey, and some of them for decades. In just the period from 2020 to 2023, trade between our two countries grew by over 55%, hitting a record high in 2022. And significantly, this is the period of the pandemic, and yet we saw this growth. Our extensive trade relationship ranges from textiles to aerospace equipment to clean energy to digital technologies. At the same time, two-way trade and investment has also prospered, and we are proud that the United States continues to rank as Turkey's second largest source of foreign direct investment. Now, looking in the other direction, in 2022, Turkish foreign direct investment into the United States reached almost $3 billion US. I started out by talking about TradeWinds. In addition to that, we also hold an annual event here just outside of DC focused on attracting foreign direct investment into the United States, and we call this the Select USA Investment Summit. At last year's Select USA, we were pleased to host the largest ever Turkish delegation, which was comprised of over 35 different Turkish companies. And to give you a sense of the scale of Select USA, in 2023, we drew nearly 5,000 participants from over 80 different countries who were interested in exploring the types of investment opportunities that have been highlighted by our prior speakers. Now, the attendees ranged from the world's largest sovereign wealth funds to multinational corporations, like some of the names that you see here on the screen, but also to some of the newest and most cutting-edge tech startups that were interested in the opportunities in the U.S. market. What I found interesting about Turkey's delegation in particular is that over a third were in the renewable energy sector. So next month, Select USA will be taking place, and we are expecting an even larger delegation from Turkey, and we think that the Turkish delegation will be one of the largest globally, and I would hope to see many of the companies represented here at our investment summit. Looking ahead, we are very bullish on the opportunities for our partnership expanding. Later today, my boss, U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo, is going to meet with Minister Bolat. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And we are going to be discussing how wide-ranging our commercial partnership is, spanning from digital technologies to the climate transition. On digital technologies, just in this past March, a very senior member of my team traveled to Istanbul for the first ever in-person meeting of the U.S.-Türkiye Digital Dialogue. The U.S. delegation engaged with industry representatives and government officials across 4 different work streams: cross-border data flows, next-generation wireless networks, artificial intelligence, and cloud computing. All of these are future-focused sectors of our economies. We've laid out an aggressive work program for the balance of this year, and we're focused on strengthening collaboration on trustworthy AI, fostering strategic partnerships between Turkish and US businesses, and also holding the very detailed technical workshops on best practices in AI. On the climate transition, the US and Turkish governments just launched this week an energy and climate dialogue where we're seeking to maximize business opportunities from the global clean energy transition, but also, importantly, to increase energy security across Turkey and the broader region. Now, we already have an impressive track record between our two countries of working constructively together on energy security and climate issues, and this includes through our initiatives on civil nuclear energy and also on the Southern Gas Corridor to diversify Europe's natural gas imports. In the months and years ahead, ITA is looking forward to strengthening this cooperation by making shared progress on our goals of tackling climate change, diversifying energy supplies, and increasing trade. As has been mentioned before, on a regional level, stronger US-Turkish cooperation can also provide other Central Asian countries with more economic choices. Your companies already have such a substantial presence across Central Asian markets and can serve as critical partners for US companies to better access these markets, which may historically have been beyond their reach. So I'll close by again emphasizing how very bullish we at the Department of Commerce are about the opportunities ahead for both of our countries' economies, our business communities, and our citizens. And again, they range from climate and clean energy to medical technologies to advanced manufacturing. It is not as if we only have narrow cones of cooperation. They spread across the breadth of both of our vibrant economies. And so with that, I look forward to 2 days here in DC of doubling down on the partnership and 3 days in Istanbul. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lago, for your speech. That's why we are saying partnering strategically, winning globally. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to kindly invite the Minister of Trade of the Republic of Turkey, Professor Dr. Ömer Bolat.
Distinguished Undersecretary Lago, distinguished Ambassador of Turkey, and distinguished Chairman of DEİK, TAİK, and U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and President of U.S. Chamber of Commerce for Turkish Business Council, and esteemed guests and participants, and distinguished press corps. I'm very glad to be with you on the occasion of the 39th American-Turkish Conference. To hold this conference after 5 years in Washington, D.C. was very important. Therefore, we made utmost efforts to hold this conference today to be attended by your esteemed business people from all sectors. And this shows clearly the big importance which the Turkish and American governments attach to increase bilateral relations in all levels, particularly in the economic field. I would like to thank Turkey U.S. Business Council, TAİK, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and DEİK, Foreign Economic Relations Board of Turkey, for organizing this important event. This event has always been a significant opportunity to bring together the members of the Turkish and American business communities and allowing them to review the present and discuss the prospects. Turkey and the US have been allies for over 70 years, and we value our partnership with the United States. We strongly believe that we have a common interest in advancing our bilateral relations in every possible area. I hope this conference will help to serve that objective. Distinguished participants, the world is at the edge of a new industrial age. Following the pandemics, geopolitical upheavals and supply crises in critical sectors have transformed the nature of traditional production and distribution strategies. In the last 7 months, we also witnessed the destructive and humanitarian tragedy in Gaza, which has catastrophic effects on the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and on our region. As Turkey, being the largest contributor to the people in Gaza, we are trying to find a way for a lasting ceasefire and leading diplomatic initiatives to restore the peace in the region, which we all need at this uncertainty. At this very critical juncture, we also see that global foreign direct investments is also in decline, and the competition for attracting foreign investments is now higher than ever. Along with this new economic environment, new players in global economy are also thrived to dominate trade and investments. This new and gloomy picture and those global challenges force us to take more coordinated actions. In order to address these challenges, we confirm that the United States and Turkey needs to cooperate more closely than ever. Although behind potential, our current cooperation reflects a positive trend. Our trade relations have been increasing over the last decade. Just like trade, investments also constitute an important aspect of our economic relations. We observe that investment flows in both directions and in different sectors have been increasing. Even though we have observed a considerable volume of trade and investment in the last couple of years, we still have a long path to reach our target of $100 billion trade volume as set by our respected presidents. Turkey is fully committed to realize this target, and we are ready to engage joint works to further our trade relations. To reach our ambitious target, we need to further the dialogue between our countries and business communities at all levels, especially in a world where we face uncertainties more than ever. We need to make best use of all communication channels and work more closely through available platforms. Therefore, we started to take steps towards that end. Recently, we held the Trade and the Investment Council, TIFA, after 7 years of interruption last month in Ankara. We reviewed the issues which are important to our businesses and discussed the possible ways. My deputy, Mr. Mustafa Tuzcu, led our Turkish delegation to discuss all elements on economic field between the two countries. Today, we will meet Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo, and next Monday and Tuesday, the U.S. Commercial Services Trade Winds Program will be held in Istanbul. I would like to welcome in advance Ms. Lago as the head of the U.S. business delegation and more than 100 U.S. Business representatives in our country. I would like also to let you know that many Turkish business NGOs are organizing business programs in the United States in 10 days and next month to further explore business opportunities between the two countries. These are all welcome developments. We have to speed up and increase this momentum. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our recent figures are the most visible indicators of the strength of the Turkish economy. Under the leadership of our President, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, our economy has recorded a remarkable growth in the last 21 years. The Turkish economy grew 4.5% annually last year and exceeded $1.119 trillion of gross national income, which is 5 times higher than our national income 21 years ago. And per capita GMP reached to $13,110 last year for the first time in our history. Turkey is now the 11th biggest economy in the world in terms of purchasing power parity basis by the IMF. Our exports in goods and services totally exceeded $355 billion last year, which is also 7 times higher than the figure in the year 2002. Our exports have been one of the main drivers of Turkey's economic growth, and our share in world exports reached to 1.08% in goods world trade and 1.29% in services world trade. We expect our growth rate to near 4% this year with the positive impact of exports. The average economic growth of Turkey between 2003 and 2023 has become 5.4% annually, which has been boosted by our exports. In fact, Turkey in the last 2 decades has enhanced its industrial competitiveness. Manufacturing is the main pillar of economic activity, and growth is accounting for 94% of total goods exports. With the help of these positive developments in our economy, our main focus is to maintain our markets open, support our companies, and work towards a better business and investment environment. Turkey has been continuing to grow, create jobs, and export goods and services in the last 20 years. Total employment number has increased by more than 13 million employees and reached to 32.5 million total employees as of 2023. We will continue our work in line with our goals of expanding the range and volume of our exports and making our country a center of attraction for investments. Esteemed participants, as I said at the beginning, the world has been confronted significant challenges: the pandemic, climate change, unilateral protectionist measures, and geopolitical tensions occurring in the world economy and politics. Geopolitical tensions are exacerbating the current economic outlook. Supply chain bottlenecks have significantly disrupted the global economy. As supply chain reliability becomes more significantly important, we believe that Turkey's manufacturing infrastructure as well as young and skilled labor force will become more attractive for investors. Over a period of more than 20 years, thanks to the proactive policies implemented by our successive governments, the total foreign direct investments between 2002 and 2023 has been 265 billion US dollars. Earlier, all the FDI in our country was around 14 billion US dollars. We are glad to see that during this period, the US investor companies positioned Turkey as a production and export base, and the amount of FDI from the USA companies reached $15 billion. This makes the USA as the second largest investor in Turkey. During this period, more than 2,000 US companies invested in our country, believing in the power and potential of the Turkish economy, making an economic contribution of more than $60 billion production and creating more than 110,000 jobs. We see with great satisfaction that US companies contribute to both our production, employment, and exports, and that the number of these companies have been increasing day by day. As you all know, Turkey has become the leading manufacturers in the world in various manufacturing sectors. In addition to that, Turkey now has a thriving services sector with one of the highest growth rates in Europe and also one of the most open and developed financial sector. Among them, I would like to mention the logistics sector, tourism sector as the most successful ones, and the Turkish Airlines with 13 destinations within the United States contributes to the development of economic relations in services sector, particularly in tourism and logistics between the two countries, two nations. Turkey does have a thriving defense sector as well. We continuously increase up the modern infrastructure and technological framework. In this respect, we believe that Turkey's robust manufacturing infrastructure is quite attractive for US investors who may consider diversifying their manufacturing bases and supply chains. With its unique geographical position, its incentives, Turkey can be assessed by US companies as a viable manufacturing destination and operations hub, and adding the areas like energy, telecommunications, automotive, and digital will help us achieve a stronger and productive base. Similarly, there is a vast opportunity for strong partnerships between Turkish and the US partners in construction and contracting services, especially in the third countries. Our companies already proved their expertise globally in this field. Since 1972, Turkish construction companies have undertaken more than 12,000 projects in 136 different countries. The total volume of these projects exceeds to $500 billion. This has been one of the most promising areas for our sectors for over many years and in many parts of the world. The US companies also have an outstanding place in global construction and contracting sectors. I believe that companies from both countries can build strong cooperation to execute giant projects worldwide, especially in the countries where Turkey has a valuable experience in the Eurasian markets. Ladies and gentlemen, green economy and digital transformation require a special touch in our economic cooperation. On digital, this is stark clear that the pandemic has profoundly affected our relationship with the technology. We have clearly leveled up our interaction with digital technologies in a number of areas, from education to health and office working. Trade cannot be immune from those areas, since digital tools have become primary source for making trade more secure, faster, and less costly. This is why we see partnership in digitalization as another area of cooperation between the two countries. On green transformation, it is no secret that we not only need policies to adapt to climate change, but also implement policies that can stimulate green economy worldwide. This will certainly open up new avenues for our stakeholders, and we need to encourage US and Turkish business people to scale up their joint works in green economy. Considering the magnitude of the investments in this field, our cooperation has become more crucial than ever. We are aware that the US companies have a number of ideas about improving the business environment in Turkey. We are aware of the challenges and pending issues in our trade relations. Safeguard measures of the United States on steel and aluminum exports from Turkey continue to hamper our economic trade relations. In addition, we don't have preferential trade framework for our exports to the United States after the termination of our GSP status. We will discuss all these pending issues with my distinguished counterpart, Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo, today. But we are very glad that now we have the determination to advance our economic relations, and it is significant that we have started in more regular and institutionalized manner to talk about this. At TIFA, Trade and Investment Council meeting, there is a clear understanding on both sides that we will follow up all these issues and try to achieve progress as much as possible in the priority areas. Yet, we are completely sure that economic cooperation can always be a prevailing positive agenda item on Turkey-US relations. Our business circles, you can drive our relations and stimulate the positive spirit of our dialogue. I am confident that our companies are ready to take on all the challenges posed by the developments in the world and or in our countries. We invite you all to take advantage of business and investment opportunities in Turkey. We invite you all to increase our efforts for more production, more exports, and more employment within the framework of the vision of Turkey's century. If we can make use of opportunities together with the business circles in the USA and Turkey, we can easily fulfill our $100 billion bilateral trade volume goal set by our presidents. This is achievable if we maintain our determination. I would like to conclude my words by reiterating that we are always ready and open to provide any assistance and guidance for US business circles with their future business plans in Turkey. I wish everyone a fruitful meeting. Thank you very much.